I have just the thing for you. Golden.
Bot Rix has correctly joined the channel.
I'm thinking I'm fucking Hunter. The aspect of the...
When mounted on the back of a Wind Rider, one sees that its reputation for strength and speed is well earned. Goodbye.
It's a lot of spirit. Airdrop's like literally done. Oh my god, witching staff. Huge. Night Reaver. Assassin's Blade and Shadowfang. Oh my god, are you serious? That's fucking funny. bitch really does live in a swamp.
Couldn't resist, could you?
What?
Adventurer, Shadowfang Keep holds a book, the Book of which would be much prized in my collection. Was a great mage of Dalaran before the coming of the Scourge. His studies in other worlds are of much value to certain parties among the Forsaken. Enter Shadowfang Keep and find the book. Bring it to me, and I will report your service to our Dark Lady.
That better be good.
A succubus is a devourer of souls, destroyer of hearts, tempter of men, a creature of profound evil and of singular mind. It cannot be brought into our world without a stimulus. Thus we use its own strength against it. With the hearts of good men, pure men, loving men. The succubus will be unable to resist and will cross into our world. Then you can dominate it and make it your own. Speak with my assistant, Godric Farsan, within the temple. He will help you find your bait.
You know enough to be dangerous, but you still look like you need training to me, adventurer. For the Horde!
this, but some of the stuff on there, I just need to know if I'm able to like basically just eat and drink whatever I want, or if I'm still restricted to like alcohol. Like last time I was there, they said no alcohol until the results come in if they see what you know. So I just need to know like if I'm able to like drink, eat whatever I want, kind of thing.
Now what?
When am I expected for those to go down? It's been like 3 weeks now. So, don't you know how long it takes or anything I can do on my end? I know, that goes, I have a scheduled appointment to come in like 6 months, do more blood or whatever, so like I should just wait by that what y'all recommend is right? So no alcohol for 6 months. Alright, okay. That's all I was just curious about. Alright. But nothing else to be like warned with. Like what was that? Um, not at the time when I got my results. I would say I've probably been eating a little bit more fried food lately. At the time I took my results, I wouldn't say that I was over eating heavy on fried food. That's what was got me a little like question marky about that. I don't really think. I mean, when I was sick, I wasn't eating nothing, like literally nothing, and I was becoming kind of like malnourished because of it. So as soon as I was able to eat again, I kind of sort of was eating whatever I could, kind of thing, because I was like literally starving. I mean, I to the left, right? Bottom right. Down or up? Like you gotta go that way on the bottom. To the right on the bottom. Like this? Yes. More or less. And then let me go back. Right there. Right there? OCD when it comes to shit like that. I know, is it still crooked? Because to me it looks crooked. To you it don't look crooked. To me it looks crooked. Just don't look over from this side because this side looks crooked. You see that they finished your plug behind your... No. Huh? What? Look at it here. Yeah. That way you didn't have to be electrician. You didn't have the cord hanging. No.
Now what?
What's that? Multi-vitamin?
I'm out of range.
Tastingo.
How may I be of service?
People who die in this thing are retarded.
There's no fucking way. There is no fucking way that's in my ear. What the fuck? Dude, Q-tips were doing nothing.
If you guys haven't tried this thing out yet, then your ears are probably disgusting. This is a cool little gadget that actually cleans your ears out instead of Q-tips. It's a little ear cleaning spoon scoop here that has a camera, a tiny little camera on the end that connects via Bluetooth to your phone, and it has a light so you can see exactly what's in your ear. It's disgusting. And it has this little rubber spoon scoop right here so you...
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to go over my updated Classic WoW Priest Leveling Guide V2 There's a lot in this guide, so feel free to click through the timestamps to watch the parts that are specific to what you want to see. I go over a lot of different builds here, but it's a long video. I'm going to try to keep it as short as I possibly can, though, so I'm going to hop straight into it. All right, Priest class overview. In terms of leveling, obviously you can see that I have like 3 dots there plus a little green dot at the end. Like, what's that bonus dot mean? What that means is that I would say previously, or maybe stereotypically, priests were thought of as kind of like B tier levelers. They weren't like the best. They were very consistent, very safe, always max mana, max health, blah, blah, blah. Really like safe, consistent mob, just killing machines, just constant churn of one mob at a time. But they were never like that good. They couldn't AoE like a mage. They couldn't get like the speed increase running around the map, one-shotting things like a hunter.
Black coffee, I would assume. It doesn't say, it just says to drink coffee and green tea. What in coffee? Because I drink this, that's got caffeine in it. Coffee isn't just caffeine though, it's a bean. That's what I'm saying, like, it's probably black, it's probably black coffee, I would assume. If you were to add like half and half to it, and the natural sugar I have in there, you would probably be fine. Green tea. Yeah, well, green tea is just good for your overall gut health. Yep. And it says switching to natural and organic foods, because organic foods are devoid of growth hormones. Growth hormones and pesticides that are in natural foods can also raise your ALT levels and cause liver damage. Says eat many fruits and vegetables. Broccoli, kale, collard greens, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower. Dietary fiber. And then exercise when you're running too.
What do you want, adventurer? I'm running late, and my employer doesn't look kindly on tardiness.
They say the best thing for you to drink is either water and or black coffee straight up, right when you wake up, first thing. But or lemon water. Lemon water is very good for your kidneys, bladder, and liver. It's like a natural detox. It's like water with lemon in it. Yep. And you want to drink it not freezing cold, like almost room temperature. Like maybe a bottle of water that's not been in the fridge yet. Open that up. And I've got whole lemons in the refrigerator. Remind me later before you go to work, and I'll show you how to squeeze one into a glass of water. I got a special tool in the drawer that you can do it on. It makes it easy. I'm trying to help you, but you gotta be willing to help yourself.
Right, like they had downsides that was like, okay, yeah, like you're consistently killing mobs, you're not really at risk of dying, you're pretty safe, but you're not that fast. Now, I will say, in a hardcore environment, if you want to level a healer in hardcore, you want some kind of something that's going to be good for you in hardcore. Priest, great for hardcore, especially while leveling. Really safe, as long as you're not like trolling and doing something you probably shouldn't be. As long as you're just grinding mobs that are equal level kind of thing. You're never going to have a problem. You're never going to feel unsafe. You're going to be just constantly churning mobs. You're never going to drink. You're never going to eat.
No one believed it at first, but now every man wants one.
It's great. However, what the green dot means now in the modern era, Anniversary Realms, we've all realized and figured out how to consistently do the ZF solo on a priest. You can now hit crazy XP levels from 40 to 54, 125, 130k. That's one of the longest parts of your entire leveling journey when you're actually leveling like the vanilla way. But now that we can ZF solo on a priest consistently, it dramatically improves our leveling speed. And for context, like when I was leveling my most recent priest Soraka on Anniversary Realms, I think I dinged 54 or 55 with like 3.5 days played. And that was with hours and hours of me figuring out the ZF solo grind pull and making videos on it and everything, right? So it is crazy XP per hour if you're doing that. And that is mentioned in this guide as part of builds. I'm going to go over the builds you're going to need for that.
You'll not find faster.
So if you're not on hardcore, I highly recommend you do that. It's crazy leveling, and it dramatically improves your leveling speed as a priest. Now for priest at endgame, you probably are playing a priest to heal. If you already know priests, pretty much every version of WoW, they've always been one of the best healers in the game. No different in Classic WoW. They're the best healers in Classic WoW in both a raid and PvP setting. Now I know some people are going to say, oh, but what about shamans? They have chain heal and smart healing and blah, blah, blah. Sure, but in terms of the two stats you really care about when you're measuring healers, obviously shamans bring Wind Fury Totem. That's why you bring shamans. And it doesn't matter how much healing a healer does if they bring damage. But like when you're actually talking about what healing, like what matters for healing, it's HPM and HPS, right? Your healing per mana spent and the healing per second you can put out. And no one can beat Priest in either of those metrics. In AoE healing, as long as you set up your groups properly, it's more relevant on Alliance, but you're actually going to do that. Priests are going to be in groups of warriors, and Prayer of Healing can do insane healing per second and healing per mana. It is an absolutely ludicrous healing ability in terms of how much you can put out. And as long as you're not overhealing and like 4 out of 5 of the people in your party took damage, it's really mana efficient too. Now, I mean, obviously, when you're talking about AoE healing, chain heal, if you're in like full tier 3 Nax, blah blah blah, it can get to like a 7 HPM ratio. But even still, Prayer of Healing can beat 7 HPM, and like if you're a priest and like full 8 out of 8 tier 2, a greater heal, like a rank 1 greater heal, it is literally like 15 HPM. It's crazy. Like it's so insane because of that rank 5 renew you get on the end, and that scales your spell power and blah blah blah. So like anyway, priests, absolutely insane healers. They have crazy good HPM. They have every type of heal you could want. They have instant cast heals with shields and renews. They have a snipe heal with flash heal. They have a big, meaty, efficient heal with greater heal. They have AoE healing with prayer of healing. They are the best healers in the game. In a PvP setting, definitely the best PvP healers. I know some people are going to say, again, oh, but shamans can global people in the same spec they're going to heal in. And like, oh, paladins, they have, well, whatever, right? The thing is, if you're in like a competitive PvP setting, there's 2 huge things you need out of a healer, mostly. And that is, can it defensive dispel, can it offensive dispel, and can it instant cast heal? And priests are the only class in Classic WoW that can do all of those, right? They can purge off fears and polys on their allies. They can purge off important defensive debuffs and stuff on enemies. They can do out instant cast heals like shield and renew to keep people alive. The problem is like obviously like yeah, shamans can heal. The problem is they have to hard cast, right? And counterspell locks you out of casting spells for 10 seconds in vanilla WoW. So if you hard cast a spell and there's a mage anywhere near you, you're going to get kicked on that spell. You're not going to be able to cast anything in 10 seconds. Is plenty of time to kill somebody, right? When you're locked out of your healing spell school. So really good healers in PvP and PvE. In terms of their damage, in a PvE setting, really bad. I mean, not that bad. They're basically like, if you're playing a Smite Priest, you're playing it well, right gear, blah, 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 you're basically going to be doing like Frost Mage damage. However, Frost Mage damage is not that good, admittedly. You only go Frost Mage for the first couple phases because you can't go Fire. But honestly, even Fire Mage is not that good. Fire Mage doesn't do nearly as much damage as a Warrior does, even with Ignite. And like, to be honest, like if Warriors could decurse, you wouldn't even bring Mages. You bring Mages for the decurse, not for their damage. And so it's like, well, like, yeah, like we can put out damage equivalent to the worst spec of a class you wouldn't bring if it didn't have raid utility, right? Like, so it's like yeah, it's not really that good in a competitive or like an optimal raid setting. You're never going to see any damage priest, smite, or shadow. And if you're going to say, oh, but what if there's a bunch of warlocks, like we need to boost their damage, you don't need to go shadow for shadow weaving. You can just go holy and then get the shadow weaving ability as an off spec and just cast rank 1 Shadow Word Pains while you're healing. But I know that's kind of cringe, but that it's more optimal than playing shadow. Shadow sucks in a raid environment. It really, the benefit of shadow is it provides a lot of healing to the party it's in, but even then, it's not that big of a deal. In terms of PvP, though, in dueling and one-on-ones, Shadow, absolutely insane. It's a crazy good dueling spec. I would say it's probably not as good as some of the top ones, like, you know, Sword or Dagger Rogues, whether you're playing, like, you know, MPA or Cold Blood Abyss or whatever. Maybe not as good as those, but really up there in terms of its... Shadow Priest is really up there in terms of its 1v1s. You know, when anybody mentions, like, oh, like, top 5, like, you know, like dueling specs in the game in Classic WoW, Shadow Priest, SL Lock, Frost Mage, Rogue, like it's up there, right? It's in the equation in every single video you're going to see. So really, really strong, shockingly durable for a clothy, good self-healing, good mana efficient self-healing with like Vampiric Embrace, and shield and everything. And, you know, decent damage, good dot, you know, etc., right? In terms of Battleground, though, the problem is you're very mana inefficient in a Battleground setting. So it's like, yeah, you could be a mid, kill somebody, blah, blah, blah. But then you have to sit down for like 30 seconds to drink. And by the time you're done drinking, they just rezzed at the graveyard and ran back to mid anyway. So it's like, it's not that good in a BG setting. Obviously, BG healing, crazy for Priest. But in a BG PvP damage setting, not that good overall, to be honest.
Explore endless possibilities with the new 1.2 update, The Modder's Paradise. Introducing Confucius, advanced modding tools, enhanced gameplay features, and nation-specific strategies. Customize, conquer, and thrive in Aura History Untold.
Each exercise was for a specific purpose. It's the same thing with back. Yes, I was doing my chin-ups, wide grip. I did 5 sets in the back, 5 sets in the front. But then I remember Frank Zane said, if you want to get the intercasters and the serratas, you got to do close grip chin-ups. So we did the close grip chin-ups. But then it was bent over rowing. It was the T-bar rowing with the big blades on it, pounding it against the chest. But then it was also the barbell rowing, where I could lift it further up in order to reach the chest with the bar. Then there was the cable rowing, because they go way to the front and way to the back. And so this is how it went on and on and on, that pull downs. So it was 35 sets. So each one I was hitting a certain area, and that's how I got my definition. Rather than by burning off fat, I was working it off. So with me it was mostly overtraining that created in the definition. Each exercise was for a specific purpose. It's the same thing with back. Yes, I was doing my chin-ups, wide grip. I did 5 sets in the back, 5 sets in the front. But then I remember Frank Zane said, if you want to get the intercasters and the serratas, you got to do close grip chin-ups. So we did the close grip chin-ups. But then it was bent over rowing. It was the T-bar rowing with the big blades on it, pounding it against the chest. But then it was also the barbell rowing, where I could lift it further up in order to reach the chest with the bar. Then there was the cable rowing, because they go way to the front and way to the back. And so this is how it went on and on and on, that pull downs. So it was 35 sets. So each one I was hitting a certain area, and that's how I got my definition. Rather than by burning off fat, I was working it off. So with me it was mostly overtraining that created in the definition. Each exercise was for a specific purpose. It's the same thing with back. Yes, I was doing my chin-ups, wide grip. I did 5 sets in the back, 5 sets in the front. But then I remember Frank Zane said, if you want to get the intercasters and the serratas, you got to do close grip chin-ups. So we did the close grip chin-ups. But then it was bent over rowing. It was the T-bar rowing with the big blades on it, pounding it against the chest. But then it was also the barbell rowing, where I could lift it further up in order to reach the chest with the bar. Then there was the cable rowing, because they go way to the front and way to the back. And so this is how it went on and on and on, that pull downs. So it was 35 sets. So each one I was hitting a certain area, and that's how I got my definition. Rather than by burning off fat, I was working it off. So with me it was mostly overtraining that created in the definition. Each exercise was for a specific purpose. It's the same thing with back. Yes, I was doing my chin-ups, wide grip. I did 5 sets in the back, 5 sets in the front. But then I remember Frank Zane said, if you want to get the intercasters and the serratas, you got to do close grip chin-ups. So we did the close grip chin-ups. But then it was bent over rowing. It was the T-bar rowing with the big blades on it, pounding it against the chest. But then it was also the barbell rowing, where I could lift it further up in order to reach the chest with the bar. Then there was the cable rowing, because they go way to the front and way to the back. And so this is how it went on and on and on, that pull downs. So it was 35 sets. So each one I was hitting a certain area, and that's how I got my definition. Rather than by burning off fat, I was working it off. So with me it was mostly overtraining that created in the definition. Each exercise was for a specific purpose. It's the same thing with back. Yes, I was doing my chin-ups, wide grip. I did 5 sets in the back, 5 sets in the front. But then I remember Frank Zane said, if you want to get the intercasters and the serratas, you got to do close grip chin-ups. So we did the close grip chin-ups. But then it was bent over rowing. It was the T-bar rowing with the big blades on it, pounding it against the chest. But then it was also the barbell rowing, where I could lift it further up in order to reach the chest with the bar. Then there was the cable rowing, because they go way to the front and way to the back. And so this is how it went on and on and on, that pull downs. So it was 35 sets. So each one I was hitting a certain